What's up, guys? Welcome to tonight. Today is 29th of March. We're gonna go over the markets. We're gonna look at what's going on, how everything has played out since Wednesday, since we last spoke, and obviously I'm gonna look into going into this week as well. But let's cover some of the things here, and how the market is generally looking. Right. I love to start with the bonds, the U.S. bonds. As you guys know, I like to come in, do some situation analysis, and just be prepared for the week. So I'm just gonna give you my thoughts because I've already done my preparation. I'm gonna give you my thoughts. We're gonna look over how the week went and the two positions that I was in, and also a third thing, which is a position I didn't enter, being an idiot I am. So I want to be very transparent on this video, right? So let's talk about it. You got the two-year yield bonds. They did have a push up with a slight push down to end the week, but overall very bullish week for them. Same with the tens. DXY is pushing to 100. I mean, this is the territory that sort of scares me, but I do believe we're gonna get a push up finally now here into the weekly supply zone, demand zone, whatever, supply demand zone, right? Or this zone here. Um, yeah, I do see, actually, I do see, you know, 0.75. This is what I'm going to be keeping my eye out on. Yeah, let's see how it goes this week. Not much else to say. US 30. US 30 did what I said it would do, which is go down. I said US 30 is going to go down. I told you all the indices I expect to finally start moving down. Now, the thing is, I needed confirmation before I do enter, and this sort of gave me the confirmation. The only thing that was a little bit scary is, hey, is Trump going to speak in between, right? Which he actually didn't. That is what allowed, or gives me now the hope. No hope. Hope is the wrong word here, but gives me the confidence that, hey, we are going to see that sell-off that, I was expecting for a while. So, yeah, it's finally coming, and it's not going to be pretty. I do see a massive sell-off, so I will look to position myself into this, and yeah, we'll talk more about this here in a bit. But let me just map out where I see the orders that are coming in, and look for an entry on Dow Jones. I will keep an eye out on this. I want to see a little pullback before I do enter. There was no real pullback. It's been down, boom, leg down, leg down. Could I have looked for entries? Yeah, potentially. Here I could have looked for an entry. Let's just put it. Let's just put it here for a minute, and yeah, go down. There is the zone. We had a 2 candle swing off it. Boom, right there. Could have had a short position that we would have still been in, but anyways, it doesn't matter much. I'm gonna just continue looking at where we're at today, and yeah, sort of go from here. March has been pretty much a sell-off. You can see the whole month. So yeah, I'm gonna keep an eye on US 30, and also same thing with NAS 100. It just sold off exactly how I expected it to. And same with the SPX 500 or the S&P 500. Like I said last week, or midweek, is that I'm expecting. I'm like, look at this. This was just waiting, and now it's finally selling off. It had a massive wait, like all of March. Here we go. This is all it's moved. So, and it was waiting for a good chunk. I would say was waiting until here, right? So a lot of weight. Now we're selling off, so we'll keep an eye out on it. Would like to enter now with confirmation. S&P 500. I mean, they look the exact same, and like I did say, if I get into this trade, this would be my TP, 6,000, and it's looking very likely that it will come very quickly. It is a massive drop, 5% drop, but I see it coming. VIX is above 25. closing above 30, insane. Australia hike is on. This is why you just see this going up, up, up. I You could look to sell off the Australian 200 as a response to AUD gaining so much strength. Iron, not interested. Copper, I just keep an eye out because it is leading the market. China, natural gas is doing nothing. New Zealand, again, New Zealand is pushing up. The NZD is good. Am I looking to really enter this is the question. The answer is no. Am I going to enter this? No, I'm not. Am I going to look for this in a hedge? If I was to get into NZD trades, yes. Which we're going to talk about hedge in a second. Canada, pushing. Everything is really pushing up. This would sell off. We will look back on Wednesday. This is going to sell off. For sure, this is going to sell off. This is where it's going to sell off till. Okay. This maybe might give a quick pullback down, but this is pushing down. For sure. I see that happening. A Toronto 60 pushing down. Oil, I did take a trade on oil. Very simple trade. It's a 1, 2, 3. Could I have held it higher? Yeah. Decided not to. I was scared of Trump. Was really scared of Trump. To be honest, I should have held it till 100. I'm taking another % gain on this, but you cannot even be mad with a 1, 2, 3 for the week. Really, you can't. In a week where I literally just sat on my hand, except the NZD JPY trade, which I'm going to show you, everything else was pretty simple, right? Euro 2 is pushing higher. They turned really they turned really hawkish, just so you guys know. I'm gonna have this up here too to keep an eye on the notes, so making life easy as I tell you guys what I'm expecting going into this week. All right, and again, this is all for entertainment purposes, just sharing with you guys what I see happening in the markets as we talk. Cool. So, you got the euros really pushing high. The GDP growth is slow. I don't see euro actually cutting rates, just so you guys, hiking rates just yet, right? They've kept a hold. I think they're gonna keep a hold till the end of the year. Really, that's theoretically what I see. But again, we don't know what this high crude oil is really gonna do over there. So let's keep an eye out there. DAX, GBP pushing. Everything is really pushing up. FTSE, I do see it going down. Again, keep in mind, every time the currency gets stronger, their index will go lower. That's how it works majority of the time. So that's why USD going up, NAS 100 dropping, US 30 dropping, all that stuff, right? Gold, China, not really interested, just so you know, in Swiss franc, even though, I see this going up. I'm not interested. Swiss franc, I'm actually bearish on, which I'll talk about in a minute. And Japan is also really pushing up. This is going to be a little bit of a thing I'm going to keep an eye out on. Nikkei dropping. Okay, let's talk about this now. So, I want to be as transparent as possible. Actually, I think I have silver left. Silver's just chilling. I'm not interested. Now, Nikkei. I wanted to hedge my NZD JPY position. I wasn't really excited about JPY or shorting JPY anymore, just based off the fact that what is going on in Japan, and the intervention that I'm gonna see the Japanese yen really have in play. Because let's talk about all of this now real quick. I'm gonna go to my red list, and we're gonna go to USD JPY. When USD JPY goes above the 160 point, 150 point, you're gonna start experiencing, look at this. We've been above 150. This is why I took a sell here. We've been above 150 since October. This the moves above 150 are not too good. They it's gonna be very volatile. Now here's the thing. Almost every single time when we're above 160, and I'm gonna go monthly just so you can see it, we get pushed down. We get pushed down. Where did we peak at? 161 in July. Then we got what? We got pushed down, completely pushed down. Why? Because the Japan intervenes. They don't want prices above 160. They simply don't. 150. Here we go. Here, what happened here? In 90s, pushed down. So this has only happened 2 times that we've gone above it, and we get pushed down every single time. Can you see a 100 pip sell off here? Possibly. So I wasn't very happy about what's going on, and why I even ended the NJ trade at that point. I looked at myself and I was like, what a stupid trade to get into. So I wanted to hedge this, but I didn't. This is why I have it here. And like I said just before, if JPY is gonna gain strength, the index is gonna drop. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. So I should have taken this sell. I had it. I don't know why I didn't pull the trigger on it, and I'm really, really disappointed in myself for not doing so. Because if I did, I would have gone, let's look at this, NZDJPY. This was a trade I was in. Stupid trade. Thinking back at it now, yeah, I would have lost. Look, I lost 1% here, and if I was in the Nikkei, like I showed you guys, if I would have taken it, I would have taken it at a 1 to 2 simply because of my core position being on JPY shorts. This would have been a hedge to protect it. I would have lost 1% there, would have gained 2 here, and would have come out 1% in profit. That's how you manage position, really. But here's another trade that I did take, which was the oil position. Very simple trade. That did obviously help combat the loss that we took on NZDJPY, with a 3% gain. Now, I don't really experience 3% gain, just so you guys know. I manage my risk a little bit different on my big portfolio stuff, but regardless, we'll put that for another time. But to talk about this exactly, came out 3.2% in profit on this trade with a 1% loss from that, pretty much ending the week 2% up. So let's talk about what do I see for this week. First thing first, I want to go into the calendar for the week, right? Let me just refresh this. I don't know why it's showing me July 11th, 24. But let me just talk about, what I see this week. And yeah. So we have, Fed Powell speaking. Let's see what he says. We have GDP from Canada. Jobs, CPI, a whole bunch of USD news, really. PMI, unemployment claim, and then you have the NFP. Yeah, that's what it is. Here's the thing, though. All of this doesn't really matter, unfortunately. Right now in the market, none of this macro stuff matter. It's so moved by the actual theme itself that we really don't care. But I want to talk about what I see, this week, what is in my actual watch list, and what I'm really preparing for. First thing first, I like an AUD chef or AUD Swiss franc buy. Swiss franc is clearly the only one which is bearish, and they're openly bearish even with everything going on. So I would like to sell it. I do see another hike in AUD. I think I would like to look for buys in AUD Swiss franc, right? Second one, this is just something I'm keeping an eye out on, because the second I see the war ending, right, or I see signs of it, I want to get into an AUD USD buy. This is gonna push right now for sure, but I just don't see, because look, let me look at the data real quick, right? When it comes to USD, and when I look at the USD data, GDP sucks, inflation's high, right? It's above the 2% target. Their retail sales is a negative. Um, yeah. Why? And inflation again is high. Inflation is high. GDP is low. They have to either continue to hold rates or they're gonna have to hike rates, which they can't because the GDP isn't growing. So USD not in a good position. So I want to see, as soon as I see signs of the war ending, the market starting to buy and get into USD longs, USD shorts is when I'm gonna shift my focus into AU. So as of right now, this is just to monitor it. Your AUD would be a great sell. I don't buy that euro is gonna to hike rates. I don't buy it. AUD will hopefully pushes up. How many pips do we need to push up? About 100-ish pips for me to be interested in selling it off. Euro Swiss franc again. Even though I am not buying the hype in Europe, or I don't see Europe hiking, I do see Swiss franc still not doing anything, still chilling, relaxing. And if that's the case, I need to see a bounce from here for me to be interested in buying Euro Swiss franc. So yeah, this is something that does excite me. Actually, let me see. Right, so this is something I could look to gain on. I mean, it has pushed down a lot, as you guys can see. So there's plenty of upside, that could be bought. What else do I have on my checklist? Euro NZD. Again, same thing. NZD is gonna hike rates. I see it coming. Matter of fact, I was just looking at this earlier. If we go in here, oil prices hit 2022 highs. Yeah, anyways, we're gonna go into countries. I just want to show something to you guys. We're gonna go to New Zealand and we're gonna look at the interest rate. The interest rate is 2.25, while their bonds on New Zealand are 3.645. Like they're yeah, we're almost at 3.75. They're pricing in a lot of hikes in New Zealand. And if I look at New Zealand's actual numbers, right, GDP is not growing, inflation is 3.1. If the battle that banks look at is the inflation, just so you know, that's the number one thing they're gonna look at. They're gonna fight that over the GDP growth for right away. And if this is the case, they're gonna hike. So I'm gonna buy. I'm gonna buy into the hype of this, and I think we have your NZD that can potentially push down. Your USD, again, we all know what's going on. I've explained it multiple times. I will be looking to enter this. I was looking for an entry up here, but it unfortunately never really pushed up. But in case it does tomorrow, I want to have it marked up. So we got 5 there. I think this is why I was a little bit hesitant to. Doesn't really have a point to come up to. So I'm gonna wait this out. Euro USD, GA, same situation. I don't see GBP wanting to, cut rates. Hike rates. My bad. Let's look at GBP again. Got the numbers here. And did they turn hawkish? Yes. But here's the thing I want you to know. At current energy prices, UK inflation is set to peak between 3.5 to 4% this autumn. That's around a percentage point higher than, they expected pre-war. Not exactly a game changer for a central bank. And that was on the verge, and they were on the verge of cutting rates last month before the war broke out. So I don't buy it, is my point. Don't buy it. Again, GBP chef though, I do buy because they are very bearish, right? They're dovish. They won't hike rates. They're not even talking about it. They held rates. They're talking about other things that they want to do. No, I buy the hype. I will sell Swiss franc is my point. GN, same thing. Just keep an eye out. This is horrible, horrible price action. GU, this was a trade I was about to enter here actually after this happened, but I didn't want to get into another one here. This would have been it. Stop loss is too big in my opinion. 48 pips. Could I have entered? Yeah, but there was two things. One was this. Two, look at the time it happened. I was simply not interested in getting into a trade going into the weekend with Trump potentially saying something. It's not worth my risk. Okay. NZD Swiss franc, you guys get the point. You guys see what I'm doing, but this is horrible. USD Swiss franc, for sure, I would like to enter this, right? So now, last one to end this up, and then talking a little bit about gold, is USD JPY. I already spoke about this. Historically, they are going to intervene. I just don't know where they're going to intervene. I will potentially look to, if we go back in here, let's go back. Let's replay this and start new. And we will see what happened, okay? Now, we are in replay mode. And I'm going to put out another point for us to keep an eye out on. Because this really pushed up, right? So we're gonna keep an eye out on a few points. We're gonna keep an eye out on 3.7. Let me move this closer. We're gonna keep an eye on point 161. We're gonna keep an eye out on 1625, and then ultimately we're gonna keep an eye out on even 75, I guess. No 75, on 5. Now here's the thing. I want to see how the market reacted every time it hit this given point, right? Because did it give us a 2 candle swing? Well, yeah, here, right? How short was your stop loss if you were to get in? We're gonna measure this. Yep, you would have taken a stop loss here. No biggie. Ooh. You would have taken a stop loss here if you would have just thought that, hey, this is what the market did. I actually want to see what did the market eventually do. Oh, it did go up there. Never mind. We did go to 75 too. And it was pushing higher up, so I can actually delete all these different ones. Let me just delete all this. Okay, cool. Then we had a massive drop. This indicates fully that they have come in. Did we get the drop from, we almost got the drop from 162. So why I'm actually replaying this is because I want to see what did the market do. Here's your confirmation of a sell-off. What did the market do? And how I can enter it come this time, right? 42 pip stop loss. I would take it in a heartbeat. Yeah, you could easily have you could easily at this point, they would love for the price to go to 150 if I'm not wrong, right? I'm just, again, this is hypothetical. I want to show it to you guys what kind of position can come through right now with what's going on in the market. So let's just go daily to see. Yep. Point improved. Okay. It's coming. This is going to be the same situation that's going to happen. Mark my words. And if you were to somehow get in here by keeping your eye out on everything going on, which I highly, highly, highly will tell everyone to do, is keep an eye out on what is going on, because this is the kind of candle I expect. Okay? I really expect that kind of a candle. Now, I'm not saying 150 is going to hit when the market finally does intervene. I'm not saying that yet. but they would want it to be there. And if I fast forward, I'm pretty sure it did hit 150. Yes, it did, and some. So yeah, guys, look, this is gonna be probably the trade of the year. I am gonna keep my eye out on this. I don't care. If you do take a couple L's, it will be fine. Is it in place to probably push down? Maybe. Okay, maybe. Who knows? So, but let's talk about the last thing, okay? And I want to talk a little bit about gold. Gold is probably going to have another whipsaw week. Now, I did say that on Wednesday that we're going to expect whipsaw. You look at this, it's going to be very apparent. So look at this. Let's go daily. Boom. Market went nowhere. Wednesday, up, close down. Down, close up. Like down, boom, straight back up. We moved nowhere in 3 days. Exactly what I said. What do I see happening again? Same exact thing. Probably going nowhere, but if we are going to go, we're going to go down. 4,000 is my point of interest. You can scalp it away. There's going to be crazy scalping sessions that you're going to be able to get in. A lot of the sell points I would take in my direction for gold will probably be sell off. Okay. Now, if you want access to trade ideas and how you can copy these trades on gold, check the link in bio. There's a Telegram there. We do have more resources for you to be able to use. But with that being said, guys, that's going to be the whole thing for this week. It's going to be a jam-packed week. I do have a lot of things that I'm looking at. Again, if I was to take some L's on UJ, I will be okay with it. I will be okay. Do I expect 150? No, I don't. But do I expect 158, 155? Potentially. So I'm going to continue. I will take, if I have to take 3, 4, 5 losses to finally get into it, it will be worth it, because you're taking 3 L's and the 4th one hits, you're taking a 1 to 10 on this, you're not going to complain, right? So manage your risk well, be prepared, and this week's going to be an incredible week, guys. I'll see you soon. Again, if you need anything, Telegram's in bio. I'll catch you inside, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.